Hi, everyone. In this session, we are going to discuss a very important issue, that is the women-led development in G20's in one of the G20's agenda. And this is in fact the answer of a question that is being asked in APSC 2022 that held in this year, APSC 2023. And the question is from GS paper 1. And the question was, as G20 share, India has identified women-led development as one of the high priority subjects. Discuss the merits of women-led development in the context of India. So the question is asking that what will be the merits of women-led development in the context of India. First, we will discuss about what is women-led development and how it is going to attack on the weak gender gap that India has. Now, you see, when India listed women-led development as one of the 6 main priorities of its G20 presidency, along with inclusive growth, progress on the sustainable development goals, green development, technological transformation, and transforming multilateral institutions. It was considered a tacit acknowledgement of the fact that gender equality remains one of the most pressing policy challenges in India. Remember, this year we already aware that G20 held successfully and with a very, very successful Delhi summit. We can see a very successful G20 meet under the presidency of India. And India has listed 6 priorities. They are inclusive growth, progress on the sustainable development goals, green development, technological transformation, reforming multilateral institution, and women-led development as the priorities of this G20 presidency. So why India has included this woman-led development here? Because India now focusing on gender equality issue. And why? It is very clear that India's gender gap, as it was ranked 127 out of 146 countries in this year global gender gap report, faces the perennial issue of missing women from the workforce, is a very weak problem, a term that policymakers ascribe to problems that are impossible to solve in a way that is simple or final, like climate change, which is a weak problem. So see, India is focusing on the gender equality issue. Right. Why? Because you can easily see in the global gender gap report, India was ranked 127 out of 146 countries. And that is really a very means high concern that we have to focus on. And policymaker term this or ascribe this problem as a weak problem. And what is weak problem? Weak problem is that problem that is impossible to solve in a way that is very simple or final. Means it really needs effort to solve such type of problem. So gender gap, one such weak problem. Another such weak problem is climate change. Under woman-led development, women are not just beneficiaries of development. Instead, they set the agenda for the development and are key to achieving the 2030 sustainable development goals as leaders and equal participants. So women will not just be the beneficiaries. In fact, they will set the agenda. In fact, they will act as the leaders and in fact equal participants as their male counterparts too. Under its presidency, India took an approach to mainstream gender into G20 discussion. India has promoted women-led development as a distinct concept. Under the women-led development, women are not just beneficiaries, as I said, they will act as a leader. Now, gender and G20. Let's again come into the depth of this. Gender, that was a neglected subject, has slowly gained traction in G20. There is enough evidence to support that women are force multipliers. When women have access to resources, they invest in the education and health of families, communities, and more than men. It is very, very true that women, if they will have equal access to resources, they will invest them in education and health of the families, then their male counterparts too. Because women obviously have a caringness, and because of that caringness, they can utilize the resources for the benefits of their family, for the benefits of the society, community. Okay, so overall for the country. So there is a multiplier effect on the economies too. India, for instance, can boost its GDP by 27% by raising women's workforce participation. So we know our workforce participation is not so good. Means women's workforce participation, it's not that good. But if we can include more and more women in workforce, that will boost our GDP by 27%. Right. So that is a multiplier effect that we are talking about. At the 2014 summit in Australia, G20 leaders made the 25 cross 25 pledge to reduce the gender gap in labor market participation by 25% by 2025. In a summit, means in an earlier summit that held in Australia in the year 2024, 2014, the leaders made 25 cross 25 plays, and by that place they try to reduce the gender gap by 25% by 2025. In 2015, Turkey, the W20 was launched as an official engagement group, a network designed to strengthen women's economic empowerment in the G20 process. See, you know, in G20, many other groups are also associated, like this one, Women 20, W20, and that was being launched in Turkey in the 2015. Okay, and that acts as an official engagement group, a network designed to strengthen the women's economic empowerment in the G20 process. One thing you all should not forget, that this line that I have said, that if we boost the women's participation, that will boost the GDP of our country by 27%. Right. And another thing, that 25 cost 25 place of Australia Summit, and that actually promised to reduce the gender gap in labor market participation by 25% by 2025. Okay. Now, gender commitment in the G20 have mainly emphasized increasing female labor force participation and improving workplace conditions and earning for women. Obviously, women can participate in the work, but for that, infrastructure should be made in such a way that they will feel comfortable to work. Right? Like women's washroom or those different facilities, they are needed for a workplace where women can comfortably work. Right. G20 Empower, Alliance for the Empowerment and Progression of Women's Economic Representation, G20 Empower, was launched in Japan 2019 as an alliance between business and government to promote women's leadership and empowerment in the private sector. Then gender commitment in the G20 have mainly emphasized increasing female labor force participation and improving workplace conditions and earnings for women. From 2015 onwards, the forum has promoted women's entrepreneurship, enhancing digital skills and education in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and management, to increase female participation in this sector. Now, this year G20 has recognized that more recently, G20 has recognized that COVID-19 pandemic and the climate crisis have impacted women and girls disproportionately in every part of the world, and committed to work on narrowing the resultant inequalities. Now, let's come to the main theme of our question, India's vision of women-led development. Now, the themes under India's vision for women-led development are wide-ranging, but they can be summarized through the statement that came out of the G20 Ministerial Conference on Women Empowerment, which took place in August, and encapsulates discussion that took place during this year. See, in August, I think in Gandhinagar, yes, in Gandhinagar, what happens that one special conference held for G20's women's participation or women's gender, like this, the term is that gender equality and empowering for all women and girls, right? In a historic achievement of the gender equality, women empowerment, and women-led development, the G20 New Delhi Leaders Declaration 2023 has incorporated a shared statement which was adopted at the G20 Ministerial Conference for Women Empowerment in Gandhinagar on 2nd to 4th August 2023. Yes, this is the conference I am talking about. G20 Ministerial Conference for Women Empowerment in Gandhinagar on 2nd to 4th August 2023. And whatever the main statement they adopted now being included in the New Delhi Leaders Declaration 2023. This is a very important thing. Now, what are those actually? And those things are that we have to include more and more women in research, like increasing investment and access to education and skilling, including in STEM for women, promoting women entrepreneurs and women owned and led MSMEs, promoting leadership and decision-making roles for women at the grassroots, including in the political systems, governance, recognizing and promoting women's role in climate change, food security, and nutrition. So India's emphasis on women's role in building climate resilience is cognizant of how the climate crisis is not gender neutral, and women and girls experience the greatest impacts of climate change. So see, so main things that we are talking about, that in STEM, maximum women participation is required. More and more women entrepreneurs should be involved in the MSMEs, and that should be also women lead and women owned. Then their way we are actually focusing on promoting the leadership and decision-making roles of women at the grassroots level, and even in the political system and governance, we need more women to be participated. And also in the climate change, women's roles are comparatively more crucial than men, right? Women can tackle those issues far better than men. That's why they said that this is not a gender neutral case. In fact, this is the girls experience the greatest impacts of climate change, so they should be involved in leading roles to tackle those issues that are coming from the climate change, food security, and nutrition. Now, outcomes of India's presidency. It is a little early to sum up the outcomes, but this article, obviously, that is before the Delhi summit. Now we can say that India has included everything that will focus on reducing the gender gap, and that is focusing on increasing the women participation in what we can say that a greater climate change tackling procedures where women can lead a leadership role, and also they can be involved in MSMEs, and also they can be involved in more and more numbers in MSMEs. W20, India has pushed for developing national gender strategies that are funded and tracked through the gender disaggregated data for G20 countries, that the G20 create mechanism to collect and analyze gender disaggregated data to bridge the gender divide has been demanded under the previous presidencies. Now, W20 India has also recommended creating an annual review mechanism to track the implementation and impact of commitments to made for women and girls. G20 processes are extensive and are dependent on the continuity from one presidency to another, just like India promoted women-owned and lead MSMEs, an agenda that was taken off last year under the Indonesian presidency. It will be up to Brazil. We all know that next year Brazil will conduct this G20 as under its presidency. So it will be up to Brazil to carry forward some of the India's work on these themes. And India's work is that women-owned and led MSMEs, more and more participation in STEMs, and these things should be continued, and a year-wise or annual basis evaluation is very much required. Now, the merit, or you can say that women-led development, what will be the merit of it in Indian context? Obviously, the main merit will be that it will reduce the gender gap. We have a very same rank in the gender gap report, as I have already mentioned, that we have been ranked when India was ranked 127 out of 146 countries in the global gender gap report. So the first merit is when women-led development will be more focused, we will be given more focus, is that this rank will see in the near future that will be improved, right? More and more women lead MSMEs will be there. More and more women will be coming to deal with the issues that really means that are really very crucial to tackle the climate change issues. And also women labor force participation, we can see a very but considerable improvement if women lead development will be given more focus. More and more such infrastructures will be there created where women can work in a comfortable way. So these are the merits. First, as I have mentioned, that this global gender gap report, we can see a very improvement here. Second, we can see that more and more women will be participating in the higher research in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and medical. Third, that we can see that good women labor force participation. Fourth, we can see that many women, more and more women are coming forward to lead or take the crucial roles in the climate change issues, and also they will lead different MSMEs. So these will be the merits as per the Indian context is concerned. So with this, I hope that all the issues are clear to you now. Ending this session. If any question or any discussion you want, you can further comment me in the comment section of this video. Thank you.